Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the top 10 ways to burn fat. If you follow these 10 steps, it's going to be very easy to lose fat. So the first step would be a high protein and fat breakfast or fast. So what do I mean by high protein or fat breakfast? That would be things like eggs, yogurt, avocados, meat, and fruit. So essentially when you fuel yourself in the morning with good protein, good fat, it's going to basically decrease the amount of cravings that you get throughout the day. So you're less likely to consume those refined carbs and sugars throughout the day. It's going to keep you full throughout the day. And you're eating something too that's helping to support satiety, build muscle, etc. So starting your day with a healthy breakfast, with good fats and protein, or if you're someone that prefers to fast, that's a really good step to start your day. The second way is to build muscle. So basically building muscle helps burning fat when you're doing nothing. So that'd be lifting weights anywhere from 2 to 4 times per week. So if you do full body weight exercises, you can get away with just basically lifting weights twice a week. If you isolate your basically body part workouts, then you're going to typically need to do like 4 times a week. What I like to do is, if I am doing more isolated, I like to do a push-pull. So I like to do biceps, triceps on one day, and then like chest and back on another day. And then I integrate, legs, core, neck, back, etc. In those days. The next thing would be like high intensity interval training, like sprinting plus incline walking. So sprinting for 30 to 60 seconds, 5 to 8 intervals 3 times a week. And incline walking, you set the treadmill at 10 to 15% incline, 3 to 4 miles per hour, 30 to 60 minutes, and you do that 3 times per week. So the combination of high intensity interval training plus incline walking is really good for fat burning. And then when you combine that with lifting weights and building muscle, that's the 3 that you really want to hit there, the golden trio. Building muscle, high intensity interval training, plus incline walking. That's like your really successful exercise program to burn fat. Now, 20% calorie deficit, but only for 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, so what ends up happening with one of the biggest problems people get when they try to go on a chronic calorie deficit is something called adaptive thermogenesis, which is just the scientific, basically, verbiage for starvation mode. Yes, it is real. This does occur. When you go into a calorie deficit over 2 weeks, which is what you do not want to do, basically that activates hunger and decreases your metabolism. So it's going to hinder you by not going back to your maintenance calorie intake for 1 to 2 weeks. So you cycle calorie deficit of about 20%, and then you go back to your maintenance for 1 to 2 weeks, and you keep doing that. And that has been shown in the Matador study to actually lower body fat better than being in a chronic calorie deficit. So you're eating more calories, but you're losing more fat and weight, even though comparatively to being in a chronic calorie deficit, because you are preventing the adaptive thermogenesis that happens when you are in a chronic calorie deficit longer than 2 weeks. So by breaking the cycle and eating more calories, you boost metabolism and you decrease hunger. And so that's going to lead to better weight loss and fat loss. Now, how do you know what your maintenance calories are? You type in on Google, total daily energy expenditure calculator. There's a couple good ones, calculator.net, etc. It's going to ask you some questions, your age, your gender, your height, your weight, and your activity level. And it's going to tell you the calories that you should be eating to maintain weight. So you subtract 20% from that maintenance, and you do that for 1 to 2 weeks, and then you go back to your maintenance. Now, you're going to have to recalculate because your body weight will be lower. So you got to re-put in your body weight, and then it'll give you your maintenance calories to consume. So this is a super important one that most people don't get. I cover all this in my book, The Obesity Fix, but this is a little more complex. So that's why I wanted to lay it out here for you guys. Now, I'm going to combine 2 different things. Portion control. I mean, it sounds simple, but simply not overloading the plate with food is very important. So make sure you portion control and stop when you're 80% full. That will really help you from overeating. Now, the one that everybody understands and knows is just simply limiting refined sugar and processed foods. So basically what I'm saying is consume a 90% whole food diet, give yourself that 10% leeway, right? We all have to eat things that we like and enjoy. But if you start going over the 10%, especially when you start going into the 30% range, that's really where you're going to start putting on extra fat. This is your base, 8 to 10,000 steps per day. Higher for those who are younger, lower for those who are older. But basically, if you're hitting 8 to 10,000 steps per day, this doesn't activate hunger as much. So it's a really good, just that's your base of how much you should be moving. Limit liquid calorie intake. I can't tell you how many people are actually hurting their weight loss because they're consuming too many liquid calories, whether it's juice, whether it's milk, definitely not soda. These do not provide the same satiety signal as whole foods, so you want to limit them. You don't have to completely eliminate them, right? Like 3 ounces of a freshly squeezed orange juice, right? Like especially after a workout, that's not a big deal. But you shouldn't be consuming like 16 ounces of like juice or milk, etc. That's probably too much for the average person, okay? Unless you're very athletic, then you can get away with like larger amounts of basically liquid calories. Okay, this is one we all struggle with, sugar cravings, right? And what I found and what helps me the most, when I know it's a sugar craving that I don't need carbs, like it's not a signal that my body's saying, okay, you're really low in carbs, it's just I'm getting that craving for sugar. Salt on the tongue or salt in electrolyte water is going to quickly eliminate that, especially when it's combined with something sour. So if you get like a lemon lime electrolyte mix, I use Relight, cran apple is really good too. It's got that tart. You need that tart plus salt, which really kicks the sugar craving out. So that will help you, and this is what people struggle with the most. And another thing that people really struggle with the most is the ice cream and the cookie cravings at night. So you need to find healthy snacks you're going to enjoy to eat. So that would be things like, plain yogurt. Maybe you could put a little bit of maple syrup in there, 100% real maple syrup or honey, raw honey, just a little bit to give you a little bit of that flavor. And if you are craving cookies, have a protein bar or shake. So finding healthy snacks, 100% grass-fed beef jerky, etc. That is really where it's going to help you in your weight loss journey.